Hey everyone, what's going on? I've got a big one for you because Ubisoft just rolled out the Crew Motorfest Season 8 update via patch v1.17-1.017. And it's one of those drops that doesn't just tweak a few numbers, it actually changes the way you'll play over the next couple of months. I want to walk you through what's new, how it feels on the road, why this season has an identity all its own, and a few tips so you can squeeze the most value out of it the minute you log in. We'll hit the new playlists, the competitive stuff, the customization overhaul, the social features, some standout cars and rewards, plus performance and handling changes that you'll notice the first time you hammer the throttle out of a corner. Buckle up in spirit and let's go for a ride. First up, the season flavor. It's a two-parter that splits its personality between raw street culture and a curated tour through one of motorsport's most consistent performance brands. The Street Riders playlist is live right now, and it brings a really different vibe to event design. No checkpoints babysitting your route, no GPS breadcrumbs, just a flare pop at the start and your instincts doing the heavy lifting while you thread traffic and carve your own line through Hawaii's streets. It's hosted by Weasel D and tied into the Monkey's Kitchen scene, which means grime, murals, beats, and that sense that you're racing in somebody's living city, not a sanitized track day. The playlist stacks 8 main events, a healthy set of challenges and feats, and even adds betting before a race, so there's this extra heartbeat of risk-reward every time you queue up. Win, and you're not just collecting XP, you're pocketing something spicy for swag or builds. The cherry here is that finishing out Street Riders hands you the BMW M2 in Street Tier 2, with a Street Tier 1 BMW M3 2000 constraint guiding the vibe of the events themselves. It's a smart touch that naturally steers car choice without feeling restrictive. Then there's the BMW playlist, which lands on January 7th. This one's set up like an enthusiast museum tour that refuses to sit still. You'll be led by a BMW Group Classic spokesperson and an active endurance racer, which keeps the commentary grounded in both history and seat time. The playlist starts with a mixed-era prologue, then walks through the Mark's big evolutionary beats, giving you a chronological read from heritage to current tech. Complete it and you'll be rewarded with the BMW 3.0 CSL Racing, and you'll be stepping into events that ask you to use the BMW Hybrid V8 number, 15 as a constraint along the way. I'm a sucker for themed curation like this because it nudges you to appreciate dynamics across generations instead of just min-maxing a meta build and calling it a day. Of course, new playlists are only part of the story. Season 8 also locks in Steam Deck verified status, which is huge for anyone who likes their late-night free roam from the couch or wants to sneak in a summit grind on the go. Verification means Ubisoft has ticked the boxes as Valve wants to see for a clean experience, and they're explicitly tying that milestone to this season's launch date. If you've been dabbling with the deck in playable status before, this elevates confidence that UI scaling, controller prompts, and general performance are in line. It's the kind of practical upgrade that won't win headlines, but absolutely changes how often you'll drop in. Let's talk competitive racing, because Grand Races just got more engaging. There's a ranked progression layer now, which means you're not only chasing that podium rush, but also a sense of climb and prestige over time. Rewards and bucks payouts have been adjusted accordingly, and there's a very welcome quality of life tweak in the planning menu. You can see the next 6 races queued up. That removes the guesswork and lets you prep loadouts and vehicle picks instead of finding out the vibe at the last second. On top of that, a set of PvP polish items landed, things like fixing vehicle transparency with no collision modifiers, cleaning up misaligned guidance walls, duplicate selections, missing tickets, and the kind of texture pop-ins that break immersion. It's housekeeping, sure, but it adds up to cleaner lobbies and fewer gripes between runs. If your favorite victories are social, pulling off a flawless formation sprint with the crew, there are 2 features you'll want to try immediately. First is looking for crew, which in plain speak is a matchmaking layer that automatically groups you with players that want to run the same thing you do. If your friends are offline or you're the social butterfly always dragging new folks into events, this beats typing in chat or bouncing around lobbies, hoping someone's got the same plan. Second is the Friend Pass, which lets you invite up to 3 friends to experience the entire game through the trial version, as long as you own the full game. It's a clever move that removes the "I'll wait for a sale" friction. If you've got that one friend who's a beast at lines and braking markers but never bought in, this is your moment to convert them with a proper test drive across a weekend. Now, customization, and this season makes a statement. Branded rims finally arrive. An expanded stance and rims menu gives you more expressive control over ride height and alignment, and the shop's apply all pricing has been tuned to reflect the new options. Heads up, Ubisoft calls out that rim colors you set before the season may be lost, so take a minute to eyeball your favorites and refresh those palettes. A small price to pay for deeper styling, especially if you've been itching to get more brand-correct looks on iconic builds. While you're in the garage, you'll notice little touches across the board too. Tweaks to camera lens effects that make paint pop under the right light, fixes for partial rim color application, and preview camera behavior in the customizer that should feel more consistent. Handling changes are a big headline this time, and they're not limited to a single brand. There's a pass across Alfa Romeo's street lineup, those Mitsubishi FTO variants, and a big wave on BMW's side, stretching from the M2 and M3 Sport Evolution to modern M4 and M8 variants, plus the Z4 family and even GT3 racers. This isn't just a line item for patch discipline. If you daily any of those cars in your Motorfest rotation, expect a smoother, more coherent feel when you transition weight, correct mid-corner, or roll back onto power. The aim here is enjoyment and consistency, which usually translates to less fighting with understeer snap or weird yaw behavior on the edge of grip. Sprinkle in some love for Honda's NSX92, that 993 era 911 Turbo, the Renault Megane RS, and the modern Golf GTI, and you've got a grid that should feel a touch more predictable across classes. If you're a time trial hawk, go retest a couple of your ghost targets. I bet you'll find seconds hiding in familiar routes once you recalibrate muscle memory. Let's zoom out to the season structure and new metal. Ubisoft's official lineup sheet calls out around 21 vehicles rolling in over the season with a couple of surprises under covers for later. You'll see highlights like the BMW M3 CS and the M4 CSL seeded into shop and summit calendars, the M2 G87 as a Street Rider's reward. And on the hypercar side, a mix including Ferrari's 12-cylindry and the Zenvo Aurora Agile tied to the Year 3 pass schedule. There's also a Cadillac CL concept bonus baked in as a perk if you own Year Pass 3 plus either Year 1 or Year 2. Think of it as a loyalty unlock the moment you complete the pass combo. The dates matter here because content is staggered, so if you're aiming for a specific build or you want to grab something for photo mode, mark those store and summit days. The Mercedes-AMG GT63 4MATIC Plus Coupe arrives early in the season, while headline BMWs and some exotics anchor the late November and December beats. And that BMW playlist drops right after the holidays to keep January from feeling sleepy. There's also love for the players who thrive on that steady thrum of challenges and main stage grinds. Weekly bucks payouts are adjusted to match other activities, and there's a helpful tweak that acknowledges completionists. Challenges that require prestige shop purchases now respect the fact that you might already own everything. That kind of detail is small, but it respects your time and cuts out trips to the store just to tick a box. Elsewhere, event polish tackles respawn positions and those odd moments your car would misbehave after crossing the finish, and it cleans up racing lines and collision quirks that could make an event feel a little janky on repeat runs. It's clear the team combed through a lot of minor annoyances, overlapping music players in the event lab, fast fav UI hanging around, bits of narrative text being off, and cinematics needing a lighting pass. Individually, they're footnotes. As a bundle, they make the game present sharper. Audio and visuals get some love too. There's a healthy chunk of fresh tracks added to the in-game radio that fit the street theme, plus crowd SFX variations to help the world feel a bit more alive when you pass through festival zones. On console, there was a PS5 issue where some car sounds could drop out. That's been addressed. In the world at large, free ride weather cycles are more varied, and yes, that oddity where it could rain indoors in the Red Bull paddocks has been fixed. If you're on Series S, you should notice rendering improvements that sharpen shadows, reflections, and ambient lighting, which is exactly the kind of uplift that adds subtle realism during golden hour cruises. Let me put a spotlight on a few quality of life bits you might overlook, but that can save a session. Collectibles like the Ferrari ones now illuminate at night, which is one of those "why wasn't it always like this" wins for nocturnal hunters. The interface is steadier, with fixes for speedometers vanishing in test drives, correct gearing displays on quirks like the KTM 525XC, and some cockpit and hand position cleanup so interior views don't distract. If you import collections from the Crew 2, MV Agusta bikes are now coming through properly. Even moderation and social tooling get a nudge with the ability to report players from your friends list in crew management, which tightens community safety without burying you in menus. None of these make flashy trailers, but they are exactly what make a game feel better month to month. Now, strategy time. If you're brand new or pulling friends in with the Friend Pass, the smartest opening move is to jump into Street Riders with a stock-friendly BMW and learn the no-checkpoint flow before you start slapping parts on everything. It teaches smart habits, reading corners, anticipating traffic, and using islands and city grids to your advantage, rather than following a dotted line. From there, hit ranked grand races early in the week so you can feel out the rotation and see the next 6 at a glance. Then tune your garage for what's coming, instead of overinvesting in something that only surfaces once.